All right, let me tell you a little bit about Grimm. This is a card game that mixes a pretty clever little strategy that is infinitely replayable. We have these together, plus a theme that is quite beautiful and rather clever. And I think that's going to equal something you're really going to like. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the cards that we play in this game are relatively simple. There's two types of cards. We have these cards. These are bidding cards. And we have these cards. These are prize cards. And the game is set up as follows. The first thing we do is we set up 4 rows of prize cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do that 3 more times, and then the bottom row is going to be placed face up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what we're going to do is we have to use game theory to try and understand what our opponents are looking to get out of these cards. And we're going to be using our bidding cards to do this. Now let me tell you about these cards really briefly. In front of us we have a few cards. We have the gold card. This card, as you collect it, will give you more points. 1 point if you have just the gold card, and 2 points if you have the dragon card. We have the Rumpelstiltskin card as well. This is worth 6 points on its own, but it can also turn any other card to gold. We have the Angel Mother, who has 12 points on her own, and she can convert a maiden to a princess. We have the Dwarf card, that's worth 1 point on its own, and it exponentially increases as you get more dwarf cards. So if you have 7 dwarf cards, it's worth 49. 1 dwarf card, that's worth 1. We have the Maiden card, that's worth 9 points on her own, and if you combine it with the Angel Mother, you can turn her into a princess. This will apply if you have a prince. I'll show you that later. We have the Hansel card with the Gretel card that can make the Witch card, that is usually a negative card, into a positive card. I've got some other cards here as well. We've got the Prince and the Princess card. They're worth 0 on their own and 12 apiece if they are together. So you'll be trying to collect these cards plus some of the other cards that I've mentioned throughout the game. There are 4 rounds of 7 bids, and you have 7 bidding cards in your hand. I'll show you how this works with part of this round. So the first thing we do is we can play 2 to 4 players. And we'll bid each of our cards face down. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to bid these cards face down, and then all at one time we'll turn them over, face up. And what we're bidding on here is this card on the far left. We're going to go left to right, and then we're going to go from down to up. So we'll bid on this card first. The white player bids a goose. The green player bids a frog. The blue player bids a fox. And the orange player bids a frog. So we have a 1, a 2, a 5, and a 2. So in this case, the 5 wins. The blue team wins. We leave these down, and the blue team takes that gold card. We'll do this again upside down, and then upside up. They'll flip the cards all at one time. The white team plays their stepsister, the green team their dove, the blue team their stepsister, and the orange team their goose. So we've got a 7, a card that has a 0 and an 8 next to it. I'll explain that in just a second. A 7 and a 1. In this case, you'd say, well, the stepsister wins, but this dove is triggered by a stepsister. You know, in Cinderella, the doves poke the eyes out of the stepsisters, so it becomes worth 8. So the green team at this point gets Rumpelstiltskin. Let's go with one more round. On this round, I'm going to show you that we're going to be bidding face down. So the first 2 players will bid face down. But in this round, this is different, that the next 2 players bid the cat and mouse. These cards can only be bid once in the game. So we have this round. We have 4 rounds. Cat and mouse, if they're bid in the first round, can't be bid in rounds 2, 3, and 4. But they decided they really want the Angel Mother, so they bid those face up at the same time that everyone else bids theirs face down. And then these players get to bid 1 more card face down to try and determine how to win. They have to determine what the yellow player is going to play, who also has the cat and mouse. The blue player has to do that, and vice versa. And they also have to determine what the green and white players have played. So in this case, let me grab the cards. The white player has played a heart. The green player has played the stepsister. The blue player has played the heart. And the orange player has played the heart. Now in this case, the heart for the white player is worth 6. The stepsister for the green player is worth 7. The heart for the blue player is worth 6 plus the original 3. So that's worth 9 points. And the same thing with the orange player, 6 plus 3. So now we see how the cat and mouse cards have been played. We take them out and we have a tie. These two players had tied with 9 points, and so the Angel Mother does not go to either one of them, but rather goes to the next round. And in the third position of the second bidding round, this player will be bidding on 2 cards, all the players instead of 1 card. So all the players, whether you tie or not, will be bidding on 2 instead of 1. If you tie in the final 4th round, then any cards that are tied are discarded. In the next round, we're going to do the final round, we're going to bid on the dwarf. And there's a fox that the white team plays, a goose that the green team plays, a goose that the blue team plays, and a cockerel that the orange team plays. In this case, it looks like the fox, which has a 5, is the highest card. This is the second trigger I wanted to talk about. You see here we have 2 little geese next to the fox. If that occurs, the fox becomes worth 0 points. This is from the fairy tale Fox and Geese. And so the fox is now worth 0 because 2 players, even though they didn't talk to each other, played the geese. And so now they're worth 1, 1, 0, and 4, so the cockerel wins this, the orange team. So that's the game. It's as simple as that. You do it in 4 rounds. But what's great about this, because there's so many different strategies, you can go for princes and princesses, you can go for dwarfs, you can go for angel mothers and maidens, you can go for just high points. You have to understand what people have played in that round and what they've played in the game, what they've been going for in the game. That every time we've played this in play testing, there's been different strategies employed and a lot of bluffing and trying to understand what your players are doing. So to me, this is the perfect game, and I'm really looking forward to this being finalized and getting this out to the world. And the last thing I wanted to show you was something that we have special with the Kickstarter. I don't know if you can see that there, but in there is a silhouette of a woman in the maiden card. That's my wife. And in the Kickstarter, there are 2 positions available that you can create silhouettes in the prince and princess cards for people that you love and care about. So that's my game. I hope you support us on Kickstarter, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me.